Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Hopefully, you've all had a fantastic Friday. This is going to be our daily cryptocurrency market update, wrapping the week up as it is indeed Friday, moving into the weekend. It's going to be key if crypto is to have a good weekend, and we have always maintained, even though we think the trend is still very much to the downside, rallies can occur. But if Bitcoin and crypto is going to have a good weekend, you really need to watch the stock market and how that closes. So far, the UK stock market is relatively up. The futures is up for the S&P and the NASDAQ. So we'll watch how the close happens when the US stock market closes later on. And then really look to position ourselves over the weekend. Remember, things are very low vol on the weekend. And you can have a small amount of money do a lot of damage to the price, as we saw in the prior one. So we will get into the charts. We're going to be talking about some of the news taking place right now because there's always a lot of news. There's never a dull moment in the cryptocurrency market. I'm also talking about some of the sort of geopolitical issues because this all filters through to the cryptocurrency market. You know, I got how 2021 ended wrong. I thought we were going to continue, given all the innovation that was happening and all the adoption that I was seeing. I thought that the bull market was actually going to extend. That is not the case and hasn't been the case. And the reason being is because the macro conditions, we forget that cryptocurrency is an asset. It is a market, essentially, just like other markets that get affected by external forces. And that's what we've seen for the cryptocurrency market. And we still have a lot of risk in terms of geopolitical, in terms of fiscal, in terms of monetary policy, in terms of interest rate hikes to contend with, which is why we are biasing a very cautious approach. And still expecting more downside. And certainly from a technical point of view, I'm trading this daily, so I'll take longs and shorts, even though I'm biased downside overall. We're posting them up on our Twitter, and we are going to actually start a trading series where I'll put try and build an account up with you guys, and just as a way for people to kind of learn the ropes in regards to trading and see what I do right and wrong. But there's lots going on, and we will get into that in this video. So let's start things off by looking at Bitcoin. We are still biased that there is more downside to come. We have had significant sell pressure and potentially a slight exhaustion of that sell pressure. And we're really looking for new money coming into the market. And really, if you look at the volume in regards to sell pressure, it's very much a healthy trend that we're in. And talking about volume, one thing I want to highlight with these sort of pullbacks that we have is you can see the force and the actual volume is very much to the downside. Forget the red and green candles. These could all be the same colored candles. But what you'll notice is on the moves down, you have very high volume, very high conviction. And when we see these kind of rest periods, it's typically very low volume. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. So you can see that, yes, we are found some sort of a short-term bottom here and kind of making a retracement move. But if you look at the volume in comparison with that as a kind of an extra view of it, you can see just how weak of a move this is on very low volume. This shows that there isn't a lot of conviction in the move to the upside. And that's just given all the risk that's on the table. Traders are very much happy shorting this, and the shorts are very much in control of the market. Doesn't mean we can't see some sort of a significant rally or a flip and a reversal, but we'll see that in volume. We'll see that in the chart before we can kind of confirm anything. Calling a bottom here is really just nothing other than speculation and really gambling, certainly in regards to positioning accordingly. We know the dollar's taking a break. We did have the bond market, or certainly the yield market, taking a break. This should have been more supportive for the cryptocurrency market than it has been. However, again, there is still the room for a return move to the upside or some sort of a volatile relief rally, which people have always got to be careful with. And we've been actually predominantly longing rather than shorting because we're kind of struggling to find a clear short entry at the moment. And certainly I'm not looking to short aggressively here, but we have spoken about the likes of the NASDAQ. One thing that I really want to impress on people is this is an article that came out today saying that essentially Putin is squeezing gas supplies and Europe is getting seriously worried about a total shutdown. This is what I mean. Yes, this is a headline. Headlines news is meant to sell. But at the same time, there are serious threats to the geopolitical standards of things. We know that, in my opinion, we are already in a recession. But certainly, heading into one from a mainstream point of view. Greeks fear another recession just 4 years after the country's exited its controversial bailout. So this is what I mean. How does Bitcoin fare in a recession? Well, Bitcoin was born in 2008. We'll get rid of this. And I want to keep bringing this up just so people understand that their historical models may not mean a damn thing because the conditions are just simply different. This is 2008. Bitcoin was born here, and look at what markets have generally done since then. We've never or not seen in Bitcoin's history a stock market crash. You could argue this is very much a crash, but of, continuous proportion. So over an extended period. That means for me that crypto is if we do get that, definitely going lower, given just its correlation with the equity market. So this is one reason why we're very much risk off at the moment. You guys know that nobody's more bullish on the cryptocurrency space than I am. But at the same time, I want to get as much crypto as I can as cheap as possible. And that's what we're kind of helping people to do. Breaking Harmony's Horizon Bridge hack for $100 million. The Layer 1 blockchain's main bridge between Ethereum, BINANCE chain, and Bitcoin has been exploited for 9 figures, but says its Bitcoin bridge was not affected. It's kind of like a token gesture saying that because already, a huge amount of damage has been caused. This is blockchain, guys. This stuff happens regularly. It was the wormhole bridge last with Ethereum. I'm sure this won't be the last bridge hack. Bridges seem to be particularly vulnerable to attacks, which is something I certainly pay attention to and keep my eyes on. Solana Labs is building a Web3 mobile phone. Wow. So essentially, if you guys want a phone that you're not looking to call anybody on, maybe this may be an option. I don't really get this move. I mean, a blockchain backed phone, or is there going to be blockchain in the phone? I'll have to dive a little bit more into this. But certainly, with the issues that Solana's had, they literally have to shut the network off and restart it from time to time. Might not be the best thing if you're kind of in desperate need or you're looking for something reliable in regards to a phone. But there's still time for this to come out. Bitcoin miners capitulation event may have already happened. We actually wrote about this on my Patreon. We released a newsletter in there where we said, look, miners are going to become more and more of a story because the issue you've got is Bitcoin's price is down, electricity prices are up. We're getting to that point where a Bitcoin miner's margin is very tight, if not negative, which means that they're going to have to sell their Bitcoin. Instead of hodling it, which many have actually done, they're going to have to just sell the Bitcoin to keep the lights on, basically. And this is going to cause further downward pressure until we get that volume coming back into the market to really switch things around, which we haven't seen yet. And for me, volume is very much, extending here. This isn't what you typically look at for an event moving or an event changing or direction changing volume spike. We need to see something a little bit more potentially like this. Down the line here, we'll get some sort of a big spike, and then we'll see cooling off, and then we'll see sort of momentum start to build back to the upside. That's obviously a huge over-exaggeration, confirming a new trend up. Let's get into a little bit more news. This, of course, we've spoken about, but this is a serious issue, and we have been keeping an eye, given how inflation is really the driving factor for the asset market at the moment, on the likes of, where are we? Gas and, of course, oil. Crude oil saw a bit of this is really, for me, just a pullback. Crude oil's done exceptionally well. Maybe a bit of danger that we're entering some sort of broadening structure, but we'll see how it acts. You can break out the top of these. And I think there's every reason for oil to continue going higher, as well as nat gas, which has seen a significant pullback on pretty high volume, actually. But we'll see what takes place here. Could this be a sort of trend changing event? Could this be a kind of blow off in the volume? We're now going to get that, and then we'll see volume spike back up and a continuation to the upside. There's lots going on, guys. Here we have continued ST ETH. Weakness could spell trouble for InstaDApp light users. So we've still got, again, risk in terms of individual protocols. We've seen the Luna collapse. We've seen the Three Arrows collapse. We've seen the Celsius issues. There's still lots of margin that's, hanging fruit, really, at the moment. Some bullish news. New Northern Trust Unit merges crypto TradFi team. 1.5 trillion asset manager, new digital assets and financial markets division come amid ongoing crypto sell-off. So one thing that you've always got to pay attention to, it's my belief that crypto is really a technological revolution. It's not going anywhere, and it's going to play a huge role in the world that we're moving towards. We're seeing the signs of that. We're seeing Citigroup. We're seeing BlackRock. We're seeing all these big asset managers and funds and corporations get into the crypto space. If they thought crypto was going to disappear and vanish into nothing and be this real sort of Ponzi scheme that people deem it to be, it would have already done so. And it's important to pay attention to that because ultimately the goal for me is accumulating as much cheap crypto as I can get my hands on. I'm all in on crypto, guys, and there's no two ways about that. But really, it's at the moment all about being an active investor, looking for that optimal entry, taking it, and then hopefully riding this market off into the sun, essentially, because I do really believe in it. I think we got to $3 trillion. There's no reason we don't get to 10, 15, 20 trillion dollars in the future. That's my honest belief. That is all I've got for you in this video. If you've enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated, so is a comment, and I'll catch each and every one of you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next one.